All right, so we're going to be starting here with a game of Call of Cthulhu. From what I set up with my promotional materials, it seemed like we were going to be doing more of Dungeons and Dragons, and that's something we'll definitely do. But these days, just like for a lot of people, Nintendo is synonymous with any video game, especially when I was younger. A Nintendo could mean a Sega Genesis or an Atari or anything else. They were all Nintendo. And I think for a lot of people, D&D is the catch-all term for tabletop role-playing games. So right now we're going to plunge into a game of Call of Cthulhu. Yes, I'm gonna do the narration here. Maybe next time I'll set it up so Grok speaks for itself. But Grok is going to be our dungeon master for today, or our keeper, as it is said in Call of Cthulhu. We're going to be playing as a private investigator named Tommy Malone. So let's hear what Grok had to say right after I suggested starting here a game of Call of Cthulhu. Yes, let's plunge into the madness of Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. I'll be your keeper, the game master who runs the horrors, the NPCs, and the universe that wants you dead. You'll be a lone investigator, one poor soul who stumbles into truths that were never meant for human minds. We're playing classic 1920s, the default era, unless you want modern. I want 1920s. That sounds good to me. Um, Gaslight 1890s or something else. The first adventure, The Haunting, the classic starter scenario. A simple, deadly, perfect for one shot that can be finished in 1 or 2 sessions or end in screaming insanity in 20 minutes. Your call. Roll me up a character right now, or my options, or make my own. It'll generate a character, or I could do my own here. I am going to go with Tommy here, who I mentioned I've used before. I don't, I'm not a gamer who, I've played board games before, and I'm pretty, done pretty well at them. I've taken them pretty seriously. Hero clicks, things like this, playing the whole min max meta type thing, but I'm not going to be doing that in any of the games here that we play on the channel with D&D GX. I'm just going to be taking more of a storytelling perspective. I'll consider the stats presented to me here by Grok, but I'm not going to get into the whole idea of maximizing my stats and really looking at all my options. Whatever Grok gives me, I'm just going to run with. Okay. So yeah, we will start with private investigator, and we'll spell it right, even though I didn't. Tommy Malone. This is a character that Grok generated for me before. Um, Age, we'll say he's 44 years old. All right. You decide the rest. Okay, I have the image of Tommy. Otherwise, maybe in the future I'll generate characters, on the fly here with the help of ChatGPT. All right. So, private investigator Tommy Malone, 44 years old. You decide the rest. Grok. Let me see what you come up with. All right. There we go. Let's see what Grok comes up with for us. Forgot my light in here. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see what Grok came up with while I was setting up our lighting. All right. Okay. Grok's doing a lot of thinking here. That's what it's going to be like. It is going to be a good vibe for us to have chats and tackle this together. Um, if anyone drops in, I have a chat window open, so we'll be looking at I'll be looking at chats, and if you got any ideas for me of how to proceed, I'll definitely take that into consideration. What sort of play together here? Thomas Malone. Okay, there it goes. Private investigator, 44, Boston, Massachusetts. Characteristic. The dice are merciless, but honest. I rolled everyone lied. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, wow. Okay. So 80%, 55% luck, 50%. Okay. So, is that really bad stats? It seems okay. I'm just going to proceed with this. Hit points 12, sanity 65, solid. Start solid. Okay. This guy seems pretty good if you ask me. This guy seems pretty good if you ask me. All right. Hard drinking, chain smoking. Okay, so let's go through these stats here. Strength 11, 55%. Now, from what I understand in this game, again, I haven't even really read the rules. I just trust Grok and some videos that I've seen on YouTube. You roll the D100 and you have to get below 55 to succeed. And if you get within a certain percentage of really close to like a small number, you're going to have a strong success. All right, so you can really succeed or just barely get by the skin of your teeth, I suppose, and then not succeed. And then there's something about pushing. I'm not really sure how that works, but Grok seems to handle it for me. We got Constitution of 9. I don't know. SIZ is that size? I'm not sure. 70, 50, 75, 65, 65, 80 for, is it appearance? I'm not sure. Intelligence, power. I'll have to look these up after, but we'll just move forward. Again, I'm just kind of going more the story approach here. Derived stats, hit points 12, sanity 65, magic points 13. Before I remember having a 12 point character, so that seems pretty good. Build 0, I don't know what that is. Move 8, occupation, skill, spot hit him 65, it seems pretty good. Psychology 55, fast talk 60, handgun 60, listen 55, law 45. Library use 50, brawl 55, drive out of 40. That seems kind of low. Actually, this is kind of low. I'm gonna say I'm gonna ask to re-roll here actually. Um let's re-roll. Grok. Let's re-roll. Let's give it I'll give myself one re-roll. Let's go. Everything else I'll run with. The scenario and everything else I'll take what Grok gives me. We're gonna re-roll on the stats though. All right. So we at least know Grok's being honest. It's just not letting me get away with everything here. It's Grok is actually randomizing rolling dice, so this should be interesting. I've played a couple times already. Call of Cthulhu, 2 games of Call of Cthulhu, 3 or 4 games of D&D on here. I'll tell you the story. It was I had a car issues. I was stranded at a relative's house with nothing but my phone in the middle of nowhere, essentially. Not much to do, so I had the idea to ask Grok to play D&D. I saw a character sheet on an AI website that I use. Somebody had a character sheet, Laura, and for Stable Diffusion, and I said, D&D. It made me think of D&D, so I thought to ask it to play, and it played, and it was way better than I thought it would be. It was actually amazing. So here we go. I had the dice at the table again. Okay, this seems better. This seems better. The numbers are looking a little higher. Magic is 12 instead of 13, but everything else is pretty good. Let's see my Brawl Street White Drive out 50. That's more like it. Stealth 45. Ooh, Stealth 45. I don't like that. I want. Oh well, you know what? He won't be stealthy. He won't be a stealthy guy. Let's go here. All right. Persuade 45. I don't like that. 40% locksmith. Okay. Handgun 55. Wow. Okay. All right. Here we go. Still the hard drinking, chain smoking Irish American ex Boston cop kicked off the force in 22 after that questionable shooting. You run the number one Malone investigations. One man Malone investigations out of the smoky office above O'Malley's bar. You take the dirty jobs, the cheating spouse gigs, the runaway kid cases, and the occasional haunted house nonsense that actually pays. Divorce, cynical as ever, but now you're physically tougher than most guys half your age. Years of bar fights and back alley work has paid off. You still carry the 38 detective special, the flask of cheap rye, and that old chip on your shoulder. Okay, here's our gear. We got a Colt Detective Special, 38 revolver with 20 rounds. Okay, a flask of whiskey. All right. Lock picks, notebook and pencil, beaten up, 1925 Ford T model coupe. Cool. Trench coat and fedora. Sanity 60 out of 99. Okay, 60 out of 99. So that means I can get all the way up to 99. In the past, I remember my sanity was, say it was 60. I couldn't get it past 60. Even if I recovered sanity, it would cap out at 60. So that's pretty good. So he could be potentially the sanest character I've ever played. I don't know if Grok made a mistake, but that's cool. With these games, I find that you can't it can't be like one of these campaigns like in Dungeons and Dragons, for example, that goes on for years. Because once the chat gets filled with a certain amount of text, it starts um making errors in continuity and things like this. So that's when I'll pretty much end these things. So that's how it's gonna go. And that's why Call of Cthulhu is pretty good because these are generally 1 to 2 sessions and you've pretty much told the story. You could really you could continue on if you'd like, but again with the nature of Grok, it doesn't seem like it would be something that could happen, right? It's just gonna glitch out. Okay, are we ready? Yeah. If you like this version of Tommy, let's go. Yeah, we'll keep it. Keep it. Let's go. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. All right. So, what do we got here? The Haunting, October 17th, 1926. Are we even, our video even there? Am I frozen? No, I'm not. My chat window. There's my chat window. All right. Just making sure we got everything here. I don't need to see that. Okay. All right. So, here we go. The Haunting, October 17th, 1926, Boston, Massachusetts, 9:47 p.m. Rain lashes the grimy windows of your second floor office like it's trying to get in. The radiator clanks and hisses. A half empty pack of Lucky Strikes and your flask of cheap rye sit on the scarred desk next to the rent notice that's 2 weeks overdue. You're lighting another cigarette when the black bakelite phone on your desk jangles to life. You pick it up on the third ring. A woman's voice, refined, nervous, trying to sound calm. Mr. Malone, my name is Marion Macario. I was given your card by a friend. My late uncle, Walter Corbin, left me a house at 42 Thomas Street in the North End. The neighbors keep talking about it being haunted. I didn't believe them until last night. She takes a shaky breath. The lights come on by themselves, all of them, and I heard screaming coming from inside the walls. It sounded like a man in terrible pain. I ran out and haven't gone back since. A pause. I'll pay you $50 cash tonight if you'll just come look at the place with me. No questions asked. I need to know if I'm losing my mind or if something is really wrong with the house. The line crackles. Outside, a streetcar rattles past in the downpour. Your 38 is heavy in the shoulder holster. The flask is still half full. The rent notice is still staring at you. What do you do, Tommy Balone? Answer the phone if you like. Ask her questions. Tell her you're on your way. Haggle for more money. Crack a joke, whatever. Okay. All right. So I am gonna haggle for more money, but I'm gonna do it in person. I think that'll be better than over the phone. So all right. So quite the sounds like quite the casa. I'm gonna say. What was her name again? Did she say her name? Marion. Sounds like quite the casa, Marion. Sounds like quite the casa, Marion. Um, um, you sound serious, but we will need to we'll need to meet up. We'll need to meet up so I can get further details. Further details. So I can get further details. And see how serious to get further details and the deposit. All right. Um, then we'll go. Where should we do it? Where should we meet her? Sounds like quite the Marion. You sound serious, but we'll need to meet up so I can get further details and the deposit. Yeah. So we'll just say that for now. Okay. So you lean back in your creaky chair, the phone pressed to your ear, cigarette smoke curling towards the ceiling fan. You deliver the line with that gravelly Boston drawl, part skeptic, part opportunist. There's a brief silence on the line. Then Marian Macario lets out a relieved sigh. Her voice steadies a bit, like she's grabbing onto the lifeline you're throwing. Oh, thank you, Mr. Malone. Yes, of course. Meeting first makes sense. I don't want to drag you out here blindly. I'm staying at the Parker House Hotel downtown, room 412. I can meet you in the lobby, say in half an hour. I'll have the deposit ready, 25 now, 25 when we're done tonight. And I can fill you in on the details about my uncle and the house. She pauses, then adds quickly, please come soon. I don't like being alone with these thoughts. Rain picks up outside, drumming harder against the glass. Your flask is calling your name, but so is that 50 bucks. What do you do next, Tommy? Reply with your response, okay. So I'm gonna reply, or I don't like meeting in the hotel lobby. Not a place conducive to a meeting, I don't think. So I'm gonna say I know there's a coffee spot around there. I know a coffee. Okay, I'm gonna say I know the hotel. I know the hotel. But there's coffee shop around the corner. Let's let's meet there. I'll see you soon. Okay. Um, so we're gonna meet in the coffee shop, public, not in her hotel. So let's see. Yes. Somewhere public, well, less exposed in a hotel lobby. You get the idea, Grok. Smart move, Tommy. Keeps things on your terms. Marion hesitates for a split second, then agrees quickly, her voice laced with that same nervous edge. The coffee shop? Yes. There's one just off School Street. O'Malley's Diner, I think? Small place, red awning. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I'll wear a gray coat and carry a black handbag. Thank you, Mr. Malone. I really appreciate this. She hangs up with a soft click. The line goes dead. Rain still pounding outside. Your office feels smaller. The shadows from the desk lamp stretching longer. You've got about 15 minutes before heading out. The Parker House is only a 10-minute drive in your Model T, even in this weather. What do you do next, Tommy? Grab a quick drink from the flask, check your 38. Yeah, you know what? Thank, I'm glad Grok gives me these suggestions. And I think we're gonna be okay. I don't need to do much of that. Um, I think we're just gonna head straight out. I head straight out. Okay. Here's where it gets with Grok's kind of funny. 9:55 p.m. It's 9:50, so 9:55. Am I there already in 5 minutes? Okay, whatever. You step out your cigarette, grab your fedora and trench coat from the rack, and check that that 38 is snug in its holster. No time for the flask or digging through old files. This dame sounds spooked enough to pay up, and $50 is $50. You lock your office door behind you, descend the rickety stairs past the muffled din of O'Malley's bar. No, no, no. I head out. Check your 38. I assume I have my flask on me. I'm assuming when he says no time for the flask means I'm not having a drink from it, but I assume I still have it on me. You lock the office door behind you, descend the rickety stairs past the muffled din of O'Malley's bar, and step out into the relentless downpour. The night air is thick with the smell of wet pavement and coal smoke. Your Model T is parked crookedly at the curb, its black paint glistening under the flickering street lamp. You crank the engine, it coughs to life on the second try, and pull out into the sparse traffic, wipers slapping against the windshield as you navigate the slick streets towards downtown. 10 minutes later, you're idling outside O'Malley's Diner. No relation to the bar, just a coincidence that makes you smirk. Yeah. On the corner near the Parker House. The place is a narrow joint, fogged up windows, the red awning sagging under the rain. Through the glass, you spot a few late night regulars, a cabbie nursing coffee, a couple of shop girls giggling over pie. No sign of a woman in gray coat yet. The clock on the dash reads 10:05. Okay, so we got 10:05. Good continuity. She's a bit late, or maybe you're early. You kill the engine and step out, collar up against the rain, scanning the street. What do you do next, Tommy? I'm going to I'm gonna have a drink from my flask. I have a drink from my flask before I step in. I find booth and smoke and have a smoke while I wait. I mean, it's 1920. I should be able to smoke in there. I have a drink from my flask before I step in. I find a booth and have a smoke while I wait. All right. That was a quick one. So 10:07 now. You pause under the sagging red awning, rain dripping off your fedora like icy fingers down your neck. Fishing the flask from your coat pocket, you unscrew the cap and take a quick pull. The rye burns going down, a familiar fire that steadies your nerves against the chill night. Better. You tuck it away and push through the diner's glass door, a bell jingling overhead like a distant warning. Inside, the air is thick with the scent of burnt coffee, greasy hash browns, and cigarette smoke. A few patrons huddle at the counter. The cabbie is nursing his mug. Those shop girls are now quiet over empty plates. A lone newspaper salesman flipping pages under the harsh trend fluorescent hum. The waitress, a tired-looking broad in her 50s with a name tag reading Dottie, gives you a nod but doesn't bother approaching yet. You slide into a corner booth by the window, the vinyl seat cracking under your weight, lighting up a lucky strike. You inhale deep, the smoke mingling with the fog on the glass as you watch the street outside. Rain-slicked cars hiss by, headlights cutting through the gloom. No sign of a gray coat yet, but it's only been a couple minutes. The clock over the counter ticks louder than it should. Tick, tick, like something counting down. 5 minutes pass, then 10, your cigarette's down to the filter when the door jingles again. In steps a woman in her mid-30s, shaking water from a gray wool coat, black handbag, and clutched tight under one arm. Her dark hair is pinned up neatly, but her face is pale, eyes darting like she's expecting shadows to grab her. She scans the room, spots you in the booth, the trench coat and fedora probably scream private eye, and heads over with hesitant steps. Mr. Malone? She says, voice low as she slides into the seat across from you. Up close, you see the dark circles under her eyes, the way her hands tremble slightly as she sets the handbag down. I'm Marion Macario. Thank you for coming so quickly. Dottie ambles over with a pot of coffee. Evening? Coffee for you folks? Marion nods absently. Black, please. She waits until Dottie's poured and wandered off before leaning in. Here's the deposit. 25 as promised. She slides a crisp bill across the table under a napkin. Her eyes meet yours, urgent. Now, about the house. What do you need to know? What do you do next, Tommy? Okay, so we ask about her uncle, the screaming when she inherited it. Order something for yourself. All right, so I'm gonna ask her. Um, uh, I'm gonna say you seem pretty spooked and eager for me to. You seem pretty eager. You seem pretty spooked. Um, seem pretty spooked. What was her name? But what was the lady's name? Marion, right? You seem pretty spooked, Marion. You seem pretty spooked, Marion. So she seems pretty spooked. I want to get to the point of suggesting that was this a surprise? Was it a surprise? How surprised were you? How surprised were you to find the house in such a state? Was your uncle into the what was your uncle into? We'll say that. We'll leave it open ended. To find your uncle's house. What was he into? We'll say. You seem pretty spooked, Marion. How surprised were you to find your uncle's house in such a state? What was he into? All right, here we go. So I am gonna try and get more money out of her, especially my rent is overdue, and she's pretty desperate. It seems. So let's see what we can do here. This is also a unique set of circumstances. You don't get hauntings every day. So here we go. You lean forward slightly, your voice low and steady as you size her up over the rim of your coffee cup. Black like hers, though yours is already half gone. The words come out casual, but you're watching her eyes, her hands, for the tells. She's spooked, all right. Her fingers twist the napkin into knots as she meets your gaze. Marion takes a sip of her coffee, wincing like it's too hot or too bitter. Surprised? God, yes. I hadn't seen Uncle Walter in years, not since I was a girl, really. He was always the eccentric one in the family, holed up in that old Victorian pile on Thomas Street. When the lawyer contacted me last month about the inheritance, I thought it was a joke at first. The house was supposed to be my fresh start after all. Well, after some personal troubles. But when I finally went inside last week to inventory things, it felt wrong from the start. Dust everywhere, furniture covered in sheets like ghosts, and this smell, musty, like old books and something metallic. She glances towards the window as if expecting to see something in the rain streaked glass, then lowers her voice. As for what he was into, Uncle Walter was a collector, or so the family said. Rare books, antiques from Europe and the Orient. He traveled a lot in his younger days. Egypt, India, places like that. But toward the end, he became a recluse. Wouldn't see anyone, not even his doctor. The neighbors whispered about strange visitors at odd hours, lights in the attic, all night. Found some of his things upstairs, old journals filled with sketches of symbols, I guess. Stars and eyes and things that don't make sense. I didn't touch them much. They gave me the creeps. Her eyes flicked back to you, pleading. That's why I called you, Mr. Malone. I need someone to tell me it's just rats in the walls or bad wiring, not whatever else my mind's cooking up. Dottie refills your coffee without a word, the pot steaming in the diner's humid air. Outside, the rain seems to whisper against the pane, almost like faint, distant voices. What do you do, Tommy? So, not as helpful as I thought. She talks about a book with symbols. Obviously, that those symbols probably have to do with what's going on here. She expects me to go in tonight. Um, this is a pretty unique case, Marion. It's a pretty unique case, Marion. Um, you seem like you're in a rush, but there is a lot of questions. There's a lot of details that could help before we proceed. Um, you seem, yeah, just say you seem like this is pretty unique here. This is a pretty unique case, Marianne. I have a lot of questions, but you seem like you're in a rush. All right, we'll just leave it at that for now. You ease into the questions with that understated Malone charm, acknowledging her nerves while probing for more. Smoke from your lucky strike curls between you like a veil, and Marion shifts in her seat, glancing at the diner's clock as if time itself is closing in. She manages a weak smile, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Unique. That's one way to put it, Mr. Malone. And yes, I suppose I am in a rush. I just want this over with. Okay, so there's not a time constraint here to know if I can sell the damn place or if I should burn it down myself. She lets out a shaky laugh that sounds forced, then leans in closer, her voice dropping. Ask away, better here than in the house. What else do you need to know about Uncle Walter, the inheritance, or the sounds? Thought he swings by again, topping off your coffees without a word. Her footsteps fading back to the counter. Outside, the rain beats a relentless rhythm. For a split second, you swear the shadows in the corner of the diner shift unnaturally, but it's probably just the headlights from a passing car. What do you do next, Tommy? All right, um, so I'm gonna ask about this book. This book, did you take it? I'd like to get a look at it. Something is telling me it's important. First of all, we'll ask her about this book. All right, so there we go. You cut to the chase, eyes narrowing through the haze of your cigarette smoke as you zero in on those journals she mentioned. The diner's hum fades a bit. Dottie's clinking dishes, the low chatters from the counter, leaving just you, Marion, and the weight of her story hanging in the air. Marion blinks, caught off guard for a second, then nods slowly. The journals, yes, I did take one. Just the top one from the stack in the attic. Okay, cool. Good. It was leather bound, worn, with no title on the cover. I could make heads or tails of most of it. Scribbles, diagrams, what looked like foreign languages mixed in, but something about it felt off, like it was watching me back. She reaches into her black handbag, hesitates as if second guessing herself, then pulls out a slim, battered volume about the size of a ledger. The cover is dark brown leather, cracked with age and etched faintly with what might be a symbol, a five-pointed star inside a circle, or maybe just random scratches. She slides it across the table towards you, her hand lingering like she's reluctant to let go. Here, take a look. Be careful. I flipped through it last night in my hotel room and I had the worst dreams afterward. Eyes in the dark, endless voids. Probably just my imagination running wild, right? The book sits between you, almost pulsing under the diner's harsh lights. Up close, you catch a faint whiff. Old paper, ink, and that same metallic tang she mentioned about the house. What do you do next, Tommy? What are you suggesting, Grok? Open it and skim. Ask her about specific dreams. Pocket it for later. Call for the check and head to the house. And nope. If you want to roll skill library use, or you could just push it. Cult 20 for initial impression. My cult sucks, so we're gonna have to visit somebody. Um. All right. So I'm gonna say this will be handy. This will be handy, Marion. This will be handy, Marion. Do you mind if I keep it for now? As I investigate. All right. Firstly, we'll say that. I'm just gonna ask her this. All right. This will be handy, Marion. Do you mind if I keep it for now as I investigate? You gesture to the worn journal on the table between you, your voice casual but firm. The kind of tone that says you're not really asking, but giving her an out if she needs one. The diner casts odd shadows across the cracked cover, making that faint star-like etching seem to shift just a little. Marion's eyes widen slightly, her fingers tightening on her coffee cup as she stares at the book like it's a live snake. She swallows, then nods quickly, almost eagerly, as if glad to be rid of it. Keep it. Yes, please, take it. I don't want it back in my hotel room tonight. Just promise you'll tell me if you find anything in there that explains what's happening at the house. And be careful with it, Mr. Malone. Like I said, those dreams. She trails off, glancing away towards the rain smeared window, where the streetlights blur into eerie halos. Dottie passes by with a fresh pot, but Marion waves her off. Her appetite for coffee apparently gone. The journal is yours now, heavy in your hand, cool to the touch, with that faint metallic scent clinging to it like a bad memory. What do you do next, Tommy? Skim the journal here in the diner? Ask her more about the dreams or her house? Suggest heading over to Thomas Street now? Pocket it and call for the check. If you want to roll a skill like a cult, 20% for a quick glance. Yeah, I'm not 20%. I'm not rolling that. I gotta roll 80% chance of failing that. That's not happening. I don't know. Is it bad to fail stuff? Like, does it fuck you up? I don't know. Maybe I'll go insane looking at it. That's the thing. I don't want to risk that, right? Fail and I go insane. Like, what's the point of that? All right. So we just won't look at it for now. So, Marion, what about these dreams? Marion. Um, Dreams. You feel they're related. You feel they're related to the house, the book. What do you see in them? Mary, in these dreams, you feel they're related to the house, the book. What do you see in them? You told me it's related, so I want to know, right? Okay, here we go. You pocket the journal smoothly, its weight settling into your trench coat like an unwelcome guest. Pivot back to her dreams. That good instinct telling you they're more than just nerves. Your voice stays low, steady, the cigarette ash tapping into the ashtray as you watch her face for cracks. Marianne's eyes dart to the journal's new home in your pocket, then back to you. She rubs her temples, as if the memories are pounding behind them, and leans in closer over the formica table. The diner's fluorescent buzz feels louder in the pause, like static from a bad radio. Related? Absolutely, Mr. Malone. I never dream like this. Vivid, endless. It started the night I brought the journal back to the hotel. I'd skimmed a few pages before bed, those strange symbols sticking in my mind like burrs. She shudders, her voice dropping to a whisper that blends with the rain outside. In the dreams, I'm in the house, but it's not the house. The walls pulse like they're breathing, and there's this endless black void behind them pulling at me. Eyes everywhere, not human eyes, but huge unblinking things staring from the darkness, knowing things about me that I don't even know myself. And the screaming, the same one I heard in the walls, but now it's calling my name, or maybe Uncle Walter's. Echoes from deep below like a bottomless pit under the floorboards. She pauses, sipping her cooling coffee with a grimace. I wake up sweating, heart racing, and for a moment, I swear I see those eyes in the shadows of the room. It's nonsense, I know, but probably just the stress of the inheritance. But after last night's dream, I couldn't even look at the book anymore. Dottie clears a nearby table with a clatter, jolting Marion slightly. Outside, the rain seems to mock her words, tapping irregular patterns on the window like fingers testing the glass. What do you do next, Tommy? Okay. Um, I don't think there's any point of going in that house tonight if it's haunted. I want to be a little more prepared. Um, do I need holy water? Do I need any um, you know, protective artifacts that I can find at occult store or anything like this? Um, okay. So I'm probably gonna scope it out, do a little bit of a stakeout tonight, just see if I can see anything from the outside, get an idea of the terrain, the geography of the house, the architecture, everything else. Let's see what Grok's suggesting. Reassure her, press her for more details on the symbols or the void. Suggest it's time to head to the house. Flip open the journal for a quick peek. Roll skill like psychology to gauge if she's holding back or occult for a dream interpretation. Yeah, I want to see if she's holding back. I want to see if she's holding back. I'll put that in brackets. No, it's not like a line of dialogue that I'm saying. What am I gonna say to her? I'm gonna say, she said it's not the house, right? And the dreams in the house, but it's not the house. The walls pulse. Okay, they're breathing. Endless void behind them pulling at me. Um, eyes everywhere. Okay. The stuff in the dreams. that what you saw at the house? Don't spare me a detail. Is that what you saw at the house? Don't spare me a detail, Marion, all right? Let's go. I think this is our first roll of the game here. So let's see how it goes. All right. Grok spitting it out. Let's see what happens. Already at 10:30 here. You lean a bit closer, your voice dropping to that probing tone you've owned from years of investigating suspects and cheating spouses. The cigarette smoke hangs between you like a curtain, and you watch her face. The flicker in her eyes, the way her hands clench around the coffee cup, trying to peel back any layers she's got up. Psychology roll D137. Sweet. So we got under 37. Success. Not a hard success, but got the job done. She's rattled, no doubt, but not lying outright. If anything, she's holding back out of fear, not deceit. Like she's scared saying it all out loud will make it more real. Okay. There's a tremor in her voice that's genuine, and her pupils dilate when she talks about the eyes, like she's reliving it. But yeah, she's omitting some details, maybe the worst ones, as if testing if you can handle them. Sanity check, I would imagine, is coming up on that. Marion sets her cup down with a soft clink, her gaze dropping to the table before meeting yours again. She draws a deep breath, like she's steeling herself, and nods. Stuff in the dreams. Yes, it's exactly like what I experienced at the house, Mr. Malone. No sparing details. All right, but don't say I didn't warn you. She glances around the diner. Dottie's wiping the counter, the cabbie buried in his paper, then continues in a hushed rush. The walls breathing? That happened the first time I stayed overnight. I was in the upstairs bedroom, sorting through Uncle Walter's clothes when the wallpaper started rippling, like there was wind behind it or something pushing from the other side. I touched it. God, I wish I hadn't. And it felt warm, pulsing under my fingers, like skin over a heartbeat. I yanked my hand back, and that's when the screaming started. Not just any scream, it was guttural, agonized, like a man being torn apart slowly. It came from everywhere, the walls, the floor, even the ceiling, echoing in my head long after I'd fled downstairs. Her voice cracks a little, and she rubs her arms as if chilled. The eyes, those were in the basement. I went down there yesterday morning looking for the fuse box after the lights flickered. The air was thick, musty, with that metallic tang stronger than ever, like blood mixed with ozone after a storm. In the far corner, behind some crates, I saw them, shadows that didn't match the light, shifting into shapes like enormous eyes staring right at me, unblinking, knowing. I felt exposed, like they were peeling away my thoughts. I dropped my flashlight and ran upstairs so fast I nearly broke my neck. The void that's harder to explain. In the dreams, it's this endless black pit opening under the house, pulling everything in. But at the house, well, in the attic where I found the journals, there's a loose floorboard. Under it, I glimpsed what looked like a deeper darkness, not just shadow, but something that swallowed the light from my lantern. I didn't dare look closer. She pauses, face paler now, eyes pleading. That's everything. It's her. That's everything, I swear. The dreams just amplify it, make it feel eternal. Do you think I'm crazy, Mr. Malone, or is there something truly wrong with that place? The rain outside hammers harder, almost drowning out the diner's clock, ticking away the minutes. Your flask feels heavier in your pocket, and that journal in your coat seems to press against your side like it's listening. What do you do next, Tommy? Reassure her? Suggest going to the house to see for yourself? Ask about the basement or attic specifics? Open the journal for a peek? No. So if we want another old spot hidden on our physical cues, yeah. I pay close attention to her physical cues to see if she's holding anything back Still. Okay. As I drink my coffee, pensively. Okay. So we'll do that. Taking my time here on this investigation. I'm not even. I don't even think I'm gonna venture in there tonight. We're gonna be prepared for this house. You take a slow sip of your coffee, black and bitter, just like the night, letting the steam rise between you as you study Marion's face. Between I emphasize that you weirdly there. Getting used to this. The way her eyes flicker to the sides, the subtle twitch in her jaw when she mentions the eyes, the white knuckled grip on her cup that she tries to hide by setting it down. You're not just listening, you're reading her like a bad poker hand, probing for any lingering folds in her story. But I fail. Yeah. It's tough to pin down this time. The diner's dim. Lighting and genuine fear are clouding the cues. She seems exhausted, wrung out like a dish rag. But if there's more she's bearing, it's deep. No obvious tells jumping out beyond the raw nerves. Marion meets your gaze steadily now, though her voice firmer, as if unburdening herself, has lightened the load a fraction. I think that's truly all of it, Mr. Malone. The dreams, the house, it's like they're bleeding into each other. If there's anything else, it'll probably be in that journal you have now. She glances at your pocket again, then at the clock. We should go soon before I lose my nerve entirely. The house is only a 15-minute drive from here. It's in the north end. I'll ride with you if that's all right. I took a cab over. Dottie drops the check on the table with a disinterested thud. 2 coffees, 80 cents total. Outside, the rain has eased to a drizzle, but the streets glisten ominously under the lamps. Shadows pooling in the alleys like ink. Okay, pay the check and head out. Ask more questions. Flip open the journal for a quick skim here. Um, yeah. So, uh, you can come with me to the house. You can come with me to the house, but then it's back to the hotel. Come with me to the house. Check out the outside. I may have more questions there. Then it's back to the hotel. When I head in, I'm going in prepared for anything. You nod at Marion, laying out the plan with that no nonsense tone. She's coming along for the perimeter check, but no further. The words hang in the smoky air, and she exhales a breath she didn't know she was holding, her shoulders slumping a fraction in relief or maybe resignation. All right, Mr. Malone. The outside first. That sounds sensible. And yes, back to the hotel after. I don't think I could step inside again, tonight anyway. She glances at the table, but you beat her to it, fishing 80 cents from your pocket and tossing it down with a couple extra nickels for Dottie. Marion stands as you do, pulling on her gray coat, her black handbag clutched like a shield. You both step out into the drizzle, the diner's bell jingling farewell behind you. The night air is cooler now, carrying a faint tang of that Charles River mixed with exhaust from a passing trolley. Your Model T still parked across the street, engine waiting to cough back to life. Marion follows you wordlessly, sliding into the passenger seat as you crank the starter. The whispers smear the windshield, and you pull out towards the north end. The streets growing narrower and more shadowed as you go. Cobblestones slick under the tires, gas lamps flickering like wary eyes. 15 minutes tick by in tense silence, broken only by the patter of rain and the occasional rumble of thunder in the distance. Marion stares out her window, fingers twisting in her lap, but she doesn't speak. You keep one hand on the wheel, the other near 38. A journal. That journal settle weight in your coat. Okay, somehow we're there at 10:50 p.m. when when were we 10:31 p.m.? Didn't we start at like 10? Wasn't it after 10? Or was it 9? Oh no. Grok, you're doing good with the continuity. Good shit. All right. We check the gate and yard, circle the house for a perimeter sweep, ask Marianne more questions about what? Prep your gear before sending her back. You want her like spot hidden. Okay. Um, we get out. Bracket that. I spark a cigarette as we take a look at the house. I go for a spot hidden. See if I notice anything. From out here. Okay. You step out of the Model T, the door creaking shut behind you like a reluctant sigh. Marion follows suit, her heels clicking softly on the wet sidewalk as she hugs her coat tighter against the mist. The house stares back, silent and brooding, its dark windows reflecting nothing but the faint glow of distant street lamps. You fish a lucky strike from your pack, cupping your hand against the drizzle to light it. The match flares briefly, casting flickering shadows across your face, and you inhale deep, the smoke a small comfort in the heavy air. Tonight, together, you stand there eyeing the place, the sagging porch, the overgrown yard, the faint creak of the gate swaying in the breeze. Marion shifts uneasy beside you, her breath coming in shallow puffs. Spotted in success. 42, nice. Your eyes, sharpened by years of tailing suspects and spotting tells in the dark, catch a few details that might have slipped by in the gloom. Up on the second floor window to the left, the one overlooking the porch, there's a faint handprint smudged on the inside glass, like someone pressed against it from within. Fingers splayed wide. It's old, dusty, but the shape is too deliberate to be random. And in the yard, amid the weeds near the fence, you spot a small pile of debris, shattered glass from what looks like a broken lantern, mixed with scraps of yellowed paper that might be torn pages. Okay. Sodden from the rain but still clinging to the ground. No fresh footprints or signs of recent visitors. The metallic tang in the air is stronger here, almost like it's seeping from the house itself. Mary notices your gaze lingering. See something? God, this place gives me chills even from out here. What do we do? Point out the handprint or the debris, investigate the yard. Pardon me, head back to the basement, access. Send her back to the hotel now, going alone. All right. All right. Let's go around back. As we go to the back, I listen carefully. Listen carefully. Um, you notice the handprint in that window, Marion? Was it there before? Years? Years, maybe? Let's go around back. As we go to the back, I listen carefully. You notice the handprint up in that window, Marion? Was it there before? Yours, maybe? Looks like someone wanted it. Looks like someone wanted it there, like a sign. Seems to me like someone wanted it there like a symbol. All right, let's go. Okay, here we go. You flick your cigarette butt into the gutter, where it hisses out in a puddle, and motion for Marin to follow. Let's circle round back. You mutter, keeping your voice low as you push through the creaky gate. The overgrown yard squelches under your shoes, weeds tangling your ankles, metallic scent thickening like fog rolling in. Marion sticks close, her breath quick and shallow, glancing over her shoulder at the dark windows. As you skirt the side of the house, hugging the clapboard wall where shadows pool deepest, you strain your ears for anything out of place. The drizzle patters softly on the roof, gutters dripping in irregular rhythms, but you tune it out, listening for the whispers Marion described, or worse. Listen, roll D100, 155, success, sweet. All right, so we started off with a failure, now we get a couple successes. Let's go. Your cop instincts pay off. Beneath the ambient night sounds, you catch a faint, irregular scraping from inside the house. It's muffled, like nails dragging slowly across wood, coming from somewhere upstairs. Maybe that second floor window with the handprint? Not constant, but deliberate. Pausing, as if whatever's making it is listening back. No voices, no screams yet, but it's enough to make the hairs on your neck stand up. Point up the window and question as you round the corner to the back, the handprint still visible in the main faint light spilling from a neighbor's yard. You notice that handprint up there, Marion? Was it there before? Yours, maybe? Seems to me like someone wanted it there, like a symbol. Marion squints, her face paling under the mist. She shakes her head quickly, voice a hushed tremor. No, no, that wasn't there when I left yesterday. Definitely not mine. I haven't been near that window. Oh God, it looks like it was pressed from the inside, doesn't it? Like someone or something was trying to get out or signaling. She hugs her arms tighter, eyes wide. Uncle Walter lived alone. Who could have? The backyard is a tangled mess, a sagging tool shed, listing to one side, more weeds choking what might have been a garden, and a back door leading into the kitchen, wooden, with peeling paint and simple latch. No lights inside, but through the small window in the door you glimpse faint outlines of cabinets and a table, shrouded in darkness. The scraping sound has stopped now, leaving only the drip of rain and the distant rumble of thunder. What do you do next, Tommy? We examine the back door, check the wood shed, ask Marianne about the scraping you heard, send her back to the car. Or hotel now? No. Oh, spot hidden. Okay, we're gonna do a spot hidden. I examine the back of the house. In the silence, I listen carefully. I listen more carefully to narrow in on the origin of the scraping. Okay. So this is my. What am I gonna say to her? Here we go. That sound familiar? That sound familiar, Marion? Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. You pause in the shadowed backyard, the mist clinging to your trench coat like spectral fingers, and turn your focus to the house itself, scanning the back facade with a practiced eye. The clapboard sliding is weathered and cracked, the paint flaking off in long strips like shedding skin. Vines creep up from the overgrown garden, twisting around downspouts and window frames, and the kitchen door looks flimsy enough to kick in if needed. A single pane of glass, no visible locks beyond a simple bolt. Tool shed off to the side is padlocked, rusted chain dangling, but nothing stirs there. No fresh footprints in the mud, no sign of forced entry, just the oppressive quiet broken only by the occasional drip from the eaves. In that silence, you cock your head, straining to pinpoint the scraping you'd heard earlier. Your breath slows, the world narrowing to your ears as you listen for its return. Listen, roll. Ooh, success. It comes again, faint, but clearer now. A slow, deliberate drag like claws or fingernails etching wood, originating from the upper floor, specifically the room above the kitchen, maybe directly behind that second story window with the handprint. It pauses irregularly, almost thoughtfully, then resumes with a subtle rhythm that sends a chill down your spine, unrelated to the night air. No voices accompany it, but there's an undercurrent, like a low, wet rasp, as if whatever's making the noise is breathing heavily between scrapes. You glance at Marion, her face a pale mask in the gloom, and ask low, "That sound familiar, Marion?" She freezes, head tilting as she listens too, her eyes widening in recognition. Yes, God, yes, that's it. Or close to it. Not the screaming, but the scraping. I heard something like that from the attic when I was up there last week, rummaging through Uncle Walter's things. It stopped when I called out like it heard me. I thought it was just the house settling or maybe a branch in the roof, but hearing it now, oh, here. She trails off, shuddering, her gaze flicking to the dark windows above. It's like something's pacing up there, waiting. Scraping fades again, leaving the backyard in that unnatural hush. The metallic tang in the air feels sharper now, almost tasting of the rust on your tongue. What do you do next, Tommy? All right. Do we go in? Do we try the back door? Peek in through the kitchen window? I'm not feeling going in tonight. Like I said, I want to go in prepared. Do some research on this book. Um, Spot hidden. I mean, I did a spot hidden. Okay. I mean, I can do a spot hidden through the door. Um, all right. Let's ask her. That shed looks cozier. Have you checked it out? That shed looks a little cozier than shed looks a cozier. Looks cozier than the let's say it looks a little cozier. Have you checked it out? Than the manor. Have you checked it out? Boom. Let's see if she's checked it out. Right. We cast a sidelong glance at the tool shed, that lopsided hunk of weathered wood, leaning like a drunk against the fence. The roof sagging under a matted dead vines. The padlock on the door gleams dully in the mist. Chain rusted but intact, dangling like a noose. You crack the line to Marion with that dry Malone wit, your voice low amid dripping gutters, cigarette smoke trailing from your lips. Marion turns her head towards the shed, her eyes narrowing in the gloom. She shakes her head slowly, hugging her coat tighter as a shiver runs through her. Not just from the shell. The shed? No, I haven't touched it. Uncle Walter kept it locked up tight. Said it was for old tools and forgotten things. Forgotten things, huh? I peeked through the slats once, but when I first arrived, just rusty junk inside. Shovels, boxes, that sort of things. But with everything else going on in the house, I didn't bother forcing it open. Why? You think there might be something in there? Scraping from upstairs has gone silent again, but the air feels charged, like the calm before a storm. The shed door rattles faintly in the sudden breeze, the chain clinking like bones. What do you do next? Okay, we go to the shed. Forgotten things, huh? Sounds like the stuff upstairs, right? Forgotten things, huh? Sounds like the stuff upstairs. Got the key, Marion? You must have the key, huh, Marion? All right. So we go to the shed. Forgotten things, huh? Sounds like the stuff upstairs. You must have the key, huh, Marion? Pardon me. We steer towards the tool shed, boots squelching through the muddy overgrowth, the mist beating on your fedora like sweat. Marion trails close, her heels catching in the weeds as she glances nervously at the house windows above. The scraping has gone quiet again. The silence feels watchful, heavy, like the night itself is holding its breath. Up close, the shed looks even more decrepit. Boards wrapped from years of Boston winters, vines snaking through cracks like veins, the padlock hanging from a hasp that's half rusted through. No fresh signs of tampering, but that metallic tang lingers here too, faint but unmistakable, seeping from the gaps in the door. You crack the line to Marion with that wry edge, nodding at the shed. Forgotten things, huh? Sounds like the stuff upstairs. You must have the key, huh, Marion? She stops short, shaking her head with a quick, uneasy laugh that dies faint in the damp air. Key? No, I don't. Uncle Walter never gave me the one for this old thing. The house keys are all I got from the lawyer. Front door, back door, and a couple for the interior room. Padlock looks ancient, probably hasn't been opened in years. If you think it's worth checking, maybe we could force it? But honestly, Mr. Malone, with that sound from upstairs, I'd rather not linger out here poking around junk. Chain rattles softly in the breeze, almost inviting. Through the narrow window, through the narrow slats in the door, you catch glimpses of shadows inside. Shapes that could be tools, boxes, or something else hunched in the dark. All right, let's pick the lock. I picked the lock, and we say to her, "You wait there. Leave the poking to me. You wait there, Marion. Leave the poking to me." Okay, let's see what we got here. You wave Marion back with a step with a gruff nod. Your voice slow and steady. You wait there, Marion. Leave the poking to me. She nods, retreating a few paces towards the fence, her eyes flicking nervously between you and the dark house windows above. The mist hangs thick, beating on your trench coat as you kneel in front of the tool shed door, fishing your basic lockpicks from an inner pocket. The padlock's old, rusted, a simple tumbler job, but the chill in your fingers and the dim light make it trickier than it should be. You work the picks carefully, feeling for the pins. All right, here's our locksmith's ball. Under 40. Boom. Success. They click into place with a satisfying snap, and the padlock pops open. The chain slithers free like a snake uncoiling, and you ease the door ajar on squealing hinges. Inside, the air rushes out, stale, musty, laced with that same metallic tang, stronger now, like rusted iron and something faintly organic underneath. The shed's interior is a cramped jumble under your flashlight beam, assuming you grab one from the car. If not, the faint spill from the neighboring lights does the trick. Okay, either way, we're good. Rusty tools hang on pegboards, shovels, hammers, a pruning saw caked in dirt. Stacks of wooden crates line the back wall, labeled in faded ink, Cairo, '09, Bombay, 12. All right, so it's stuff from places he's traveled. Half buried under tarps and cobwebs. In the corner, a workbench cluttered with odds and ends. Glass vials, empty but stained reddish brown. A few yellowed newspapers from the early 20s. What looks like a small, locked, strong box bolted to the shelf. Okay. No immediate horrors jumping out, but the shadows seem deeper here. And that scraping from the house, it started up again, faintly, like it's responding to the noise you made. Marion peers over your shoulder from a safe distance. Find anything? Those crates, Uncle Walter's travel souvenirs, maybe? Yep. Um, Stay close. Behind me, Marion. Whatever is forgotten in that house doesn't like us. Doesn't seem to like us. Digging up the memories in here. I try the strong box. All right. You mutter the warning to Marion over your shoulder, your voice gravelly. There's a gravelly rumble in the cramped shed, the words hanging heavy amid the dust and shadows. She nods, edging closer behind you, her breath quick and shallow as she glances back at the open door, the house looming just beyond like a watchful giant. The scraping from upstairs has picked up again, fainter but insistent, as if what is up there is growing agitated by your intuition. You turn to the workbench, the strong box bolted solidly to the shelf, a sturdy metal thing about the size of a bread box, its surface pitted with rust and etched with faint scratches that might be deliberate marks or just age. No keyhole visible at first glance, but up close you spot a simple combination lock. Three dials, worn numbers from 0 to 9. Looks like something you could finesse with your picks, or maybe brute force if it comes to it. You set to work, tools whispering against the mechanism. All right. Oh, we fail. The pins are stubborn, gummed up with rust or maybe something stickier inside, and your picks slip without catching. The lock holds fast, mocking you with a distant click that goes nowhere. As you fiddle, that metallic scent sharpens, almost cloying now. And for a split second, you swear the box vibrates under your hands, subtle, like a distant tremor, gone before you can be sure. Marion peers past your arm, whispering urgently, "Any luck? Those crates, they match the labels on some boxes in the attic." Uncle Walter's trips, he brought back all sorts of oddities. If that's locked, maybe it's important or dangerous. The scraping upstairs stops abruptly, plunging the night back into that eerie hush. But now, from somewhere deeper in the house, maybe the basement, you catch a new sound, a low, wet gurgle, like water bubbling through old pipes, or something else entirely. Hmm. I want to smash it. I want to smash the lock. I smash the lock. What am I going to say? We need a nice little film noir smart line here. Um, so she says dangerous. Um, and there's a new noise in the basement, right? A new sound, a wet gurgle, like water bubbling through the pipes. I smashed the lock. I look towards the house. I look at Marion and then towards the house. That's a new one. Heard that one before. I smashed the lock. Yeah, maybe important, maybe dangerous, but we're gonna find out. But either way, we're gonna find out. I'll put that after. All right. So I look at Marion and towards the house. That's a new one. Heard that one before. Yeah, maybe important, maybe dangerous, but either way, we're gonna find out. I smashed the lock. All right, let's see. Nobody around. Don't need to be stealth. Like, we're gonna smash this thing. We're gonna find out what's in there. I don't think whatever's in that house is coming out. I feel pretty safe in here. We'll find out, but I tend to think that stuff stays in the house. The farthest it seems to travel is just dreams. You glance back at Marion, her face a ghostly pale in the shed's dim gloom, then nod towards the house, where that low, wet gurgle bubbles up from below, like a drain choking on something thick and unwilling. That's a new one, you growl, your Boston accent thick with suspicion. Heard that one before? Marion shakes her head quickly, eyes widen as she strains to listen, her voice a tense whisper. No, nothing like that. The screaming, the scraping, but the gurgle sounds like something alive down there in the pipes or the foundation. God, Mr. Malone, what if it's connected to the void I saw in the attic? You turn back to the strong box, gripping a rusty hammer from the workbench, its head heavy with age and grime. Yeah, maybe important, maybe dangerous. But either way, we're gonna find out. With a grunt, you swing hard, channeling that brick wall build of yours into the blow. 62. Boom! Success. The hammer connects with a resounding crack, the lock shattering in a spray of rusted fragments. The strongbox lid pops open with a groan, hinges protesting like they've been sealed for decades. But the noises echo, loud in the confined shed, carrying light into the night. Marion flinches, glancing fearfully at the house. Inside the box, a jumble of yellowed papers, a small brass key etched with odd symbols, a star within a flame, a faded photograph of a stern man, Uncle Walter, standing before an Egyptian obelisk, and a peculiar artifact, a fist-sized stone carved with twisting tentacles and unblinking eyes, cool to the touch, but somehow warm in your palm, like it pulses faintly. The metallic tang spikes sharply, almost overwhelming, mingled with a whiff of decay. As you rifle through, the gurgling from the house intensifies, louder, closer, like it's rising through the walls. And then, from upstairs, the scraping resumes with renewed frenzy, faster now, as if whatever's up there heard the smash and is responding. Marion backs towards the door, voice urgent. Mr. Malone, that sound, it's getting worse. What did you find? Okay. So we're gonna take my time, man. Like, I think that house. I think it's sealed within the house. I think it's trying to scare us. But I'm not scared. Obviously, I haven't had to roll a sanity roll. Um, we're gonna just take these items. We're not gonna. I don't want to fail sanity here because maybe those noises will drive me mad, and I think I need my sanity. So I'm gonna loot the items. I loot the items. I loot the items. House sounds mad, huh? Well, it's always easier to beat them when they're mad, Marion. It's always easier to beat them when they're mad, Marion. I don't think that's coming out of the house. Um, let's have a look at these boxes. Have a look at these boxes with me. With me. Let's see if we can find anything important or dangerous. Okay, boom. I loot the items. House sounds mad, huh? It's always easier to beat them when they're mad, Marion. Have a look at these boxes with me. Let's see if we can find anything important or dangerous. All right, here we go. It's 11 o'clock. You scoop up the contents of the strongbox without hesitation. The yellowed papers, a bundle of letters and sketches folded hastily. The brass key, it's cool and heavy. Its etched symbols tingling faintly against your palm. The faded photograph of Uncle Walter looking gaunt and haunted in front of the ancient obelisk. And the stone idol, that grotesque thing with tentacles and eyes wrapping quickly in a rag from the workbench to mute its unnatural warmth. I don't want to go crazy looking at that shit. They all go into your trench coat pockets, joining the journal like reluctant allies in the mess. The box is empty now, save for dust and echoes. The gurgling from the house swells, a thick bubbling rasp that vibrates through the ground under your feet. Angry, alive. You glance at Marion, her face etched with fear in the flashlight's beam, and deliver the line with that hard boiled grin, trying to cut the tension. House sounds mad, huh? It's always easier to beat 'em when they're mad, Marion. Have a look at these boxes with me. Let's see if we can find anything important or dangerous. She nods shakily, stepping closer into the shed's cramped space, her handbag clutched like a talisman. Mad. Yeah, that's one word for it. All right, Mr. Malone. But quick. That gurgling. It's like the house is choking on secrets. Together, you pry open the nearest crate labeled Cairo '09. The wood splintering with a dry crack that echoes too loudly in the night. Dust billows up, carrying that metallic decay. Stench stronger than ever. A right spot hidden. Boom! Nice success. Your eyes catch the goods amid the packing straw. More artifacts wrapped in oilcloth. A tarnished silver amulet, shaped like an elder sign. A five-pointed star with a flame in the center. A bundle of dried herbs that smell faintly of incense and rot. A small leather-bound notebook with entries in what looks like code or foreign script. Deeper in, a rusted trowel, caked in old dirt, as if used for digging something up or burying it. Nothing jumps out as immediately dangerous, but the air in the shed feels thicker now, oppressive, and that idol in your pocket seems to thrum subtly against your side. Marion gasps softly, pointing to the notebook. That handwriting, it's Uncle Walter's. Looks like a travel log, and the amulet, he wore something like that in old family photos. What do you think it all means? The gurgling peaks suddenly, a wet roaring bubble from beneath the house, then cuts off abruptly. Upstairs, the scraping turns frantic, wood splintering like nails tearing through boards. Something stirring, and it knows you're here. All right, so it's getting pissed here. We're on the right track, obviously. Is what I'm thinking going through this stuff. So what do we want to do? Grab specifics from the crate, bolt the house door. I don't think it's coming out, man. It does, well, that'd be funny. I don't think nothing's coming out. Send Marion running to the car, examine the notebook or amulet closer. All right. Okay. We oh, it's mad now. I guide Marion. I loot the items and guide Marion out and to the car protectively, keeping a close eye on the house. I loot the items. I draw my gun and guide Marion out into the car protectively, keeping a close eye on the house. While keeping a close eye on the house. What's mad now? Okay. What's mad now? Let's ditch this. Uh, taco stand? Is that what they say? Did they have taco stands in the 1920s? Let's find out. In this universe, I suppose they do. I loot the items, draw my gun, and guide Marion out to the car protectively while keeping a close eye on the house. Okay. 11 o'clock. The gurgling churns like a beast rousing in the depths, and that frantic scraping upstairs claws at the edges of your nerves. You crack the line to Marion with a grim chuckle. Oh, it's mad now. Let's dish this taco stand. As you stuff your crate's hull into your already bulging trench coat pockets, the tarnished silver amulet, cool and strangely reassuring in your grip, the bundle of dried herbs, crumbling slightly, their wrought incense scent clinging to your fingers, the small leather notebook, Uncle Walter's coded scrawl feeling like a puzzle begging to be cracked, and the rusted trowel, heavy, its dirt caked, edge sharp enough to double as a makeshift weapon. No time to linger. The shed feels like it's closing in, the shadows twisting unnaturally in your peripheral vision. You draw your 38 Detective Special from the shoulder holster. The revolver's weight a cold comfort in your palm, thumb flicking off the safety with a soft click. Stay behind me, you mutter to Marion, one hand guiding her protectively by the elbow as you back out of the shed. Eyes locked on the house's dark facade, she nods, wide-eyed and silent, pressing close as you both retreat through the muddy yard, boots sloshing, the mist turning to a fine rain again that beads on your fedora. Okay, spot hidden, success. Your gaze sweeps the windows and eaves, catching movement up in that second floor window. With the handprint, a shadow shifts. Not a person, but something amorphous, like smoke coiling behind glass, pressing against it as if testing the barrier. The handprint seems fresher now, smeared like whatever left it is still there watching you go. No clear shot, no face to aim at, but the gurgling swells to a grotesque bubble, vibrating through the ground. Scraping turns into a splintering crack. Gives wood giving way upstairs. Wood giving way upstairs. You hustle Marion through the gate, her breath ragged, and bundle her into the motel Model T's passenger seat. You hustle Marion through the gate, breath ragged, and bundle her into the Model T's passenger seat. The engine cranks to life on the first try, roaring like a defiance against the night. As you peel away from the curb, tires spinning on slick cobblestones, the house recedes in that rearview mirror, but not before you glimpse a light flickering on in the attic, unnatural and green tinged like foxfire in a grave. Marion slumps against the door, face pale. What was that back there? The sounds and those things you found. We can't just leave it like that, can we? But God, I don't want to go back. The streets blur by in the rain, your 38 still in your lap, loaded and ready, your pockets bulge with secrets, the journal, the idol, the amulet, all of it humming with unspoken dread. Sanity holds at 60 out of 99, but in the shadow lingers in your mind like a bad dream taking root. What do you do next, Tommy? Head back to the hotel with Marion, drop her off and return to the house alone? Hole him up in your office, call in a favor from an old cop buddy? All right. So it's pretty late. Um, she seems pretty spooked. Um, I want to look at the stuff. Um, Here we go. I'm going to talk to her. How bad do you want us to get to the bottom of this? I can drop you off if you want to call it a night. Or we can check. We can check out what we've got. We can check out what we got here at my office. Away. I want to say away from these places where she's had these experiences, away from these noises, far away. Far away from the angry, forgotten things. From those angry, forgotten things. How bad do you want to get us to get to the bottom of this, Marion? That's a question. I can drop you off if you want. Call it a night. Or we can check out what we got here in my office. Far away from those forgotten, angry, forgotten things. Boom. All right, here we go. The Model T rumbles through the rain-slicked streets, headlights cutting swaths through the mist like knives in fog. Your 38 rests heavy on your lap, finger off the trigger but ready. While the looted goods weigh down your pockets, that idol pulsing faintly, almost like a heartbeat against your side. The house fades in the rear view, but its presence lingers, a shadow in your mind's eye. You glance at Marion, her face illuminated in flashes by passing street lamps, pale, drawn, eyes reflecting the turmoil churning inside. You lay out the options in that gravelly tone, the words cutting through the engine's growl. She stares out at the windshield for a long moment, fingers knotted in her lap, then turns to you with a resolve that's brittle but holding. How bad? Bad enough that I can't just walk away now, Mr. Malone. Those sounds, those things you found, they're tied to Uncle Walter, to me now, dropping me off at the hotel. I just paced the room all night, jumping at shadows, wondering what fresh hell is brewing back there. She takes a shaky breath, glancing at your bulging coat pockets. Your office sounds safer, far from that place. Let's look at what we've got. That journal, that idol, all of it. Maybe it'll make sense away from the madness. But if it gets too deep, promise you'll tell me straight if we should burn it all and run. The rain picks up again, drumming on the roof like impatient fingers. Your office isn't far. That smoky den above O'Malley's, with its clanking radiator and half-empty flask waiting. Sanity still clings, 60 out of 99, but the night's revelations nibble at the edges. What do you do What do you do next, Tommy? Agree and head to the office? Drop her off anyway? I don't think I'll be doing that. We're definitely going to the office. Ask her about one of the items en route. Pull over to skim something quick. Your move. Okay, so we're definitely gonna go over there. What did she say here? Okay. She takes a shaky breath, glancing at your bulging coat pockets, huh? Okay. I go, you'll be safe with me. You'll be safe with me, Marion. extend my arm and and comfort her. My hand on her shoulder. You'll be safe with me, Marion. I extend my arm and comfort her, my hand on her shoulder. Pardon me. You'll be safe with me, Marion. As safe as we can get with that thing. With that thing upset with us. Okay, you'll be safe with me. You'll be safe with me, Marion. I extend my arm and comfort her, my hand on her shoulder. As safe as we can get with that thing upset with us. We go to my office. All right. I take her to my office. Boom. All right. Thinking I'll end this when the night comes to a close, and we'll resume next time. All right. The Model T sloshes through puddles, the rain a steady tattoo on the roof as you navigate the dimly lit streets back towards South Boston. Marion sits rigid beside you, her gaze fixed on the blurring city lights. But when you speak, that reassuring gravel in your voice, she turns, eyes meeting yours with a mix of fear and fragile trust. You extend your arm, resting a steady hand on her shoulder, feeling the tension knotted there like wire under her coat. You'll be safe with me, Marion. As safe as we can get with that thing upset with us. She nods faintly, leaning into the touch just a fraction, her hand briefly covering yours in a cold, grateful squeeze. Thank you, Mr. Malone. Tommy, I believe you, but that house, it's like it knows we took those things, like it's following us. Her voice trails off, but the contact lingers a moment longer before you pull your hand back to the wheel, focusing on the road. The 38 stays in your lap, a silent sentinel, while your pockets sag with the weight of stolen secrets. The idle's subtle thrum, a constant reminder that safety is relative in this game. The drive passes in uneasy quiet, broken only by the wiper's rhythmic slap and the occasional thunder rumble fading in the distance. No tails in the rear view, no shadows slinking from alleys, but the night feels alive, watchful, as if the rain itself carries whispers from Thomas Street. Your office, 11:20 p.m. You pull up to the curb outside O'Malley's bar, the neon sign flickering red through the downpour like a bleeding wound. The bar's muffled jazz spills out, saxophones wailing over laughter, but the rickety stairs, your office a dim sanctuary. The desk lamp casting long shadows, the radiator clanking back to life as you flick the switch. You usher Marion inside first, locking the door behind you with a solid click. Then draw the blinds against the prying night. She sinks into the worn client chair, coat draped over her lap, while you shrug off your trench and hang it on the rack, water dripping onto the floorboards like tears. The flask calls from the desk drawer, but you ignore it for now, dumping the haul onto the scarred desktop. The leather journal from earlier, the stone idol, its tentacled eyes seeming to glint under the light, the brass key with its strange etchings, the faded photograph of Uncle Walter, the bundle of yellowed papers and letters, the tarnished silver amulet, that five-pointed star feeling oddly protective, the dried herbs, the wrought incense scent filling the room, the small coated notebook, and the rusted trowel. I don't know why he took that. I don't know why he took that. Everything else, like one of these things, is not like the other. The trowel, I guess it could have been a weapon in the house if we messed with whatever was going on in there. But at this stage, it's just junk, I think. Marianne leans forward, eyes scanning the pile. Where do we start? That idol, it gives me the same creeps as the house and the notebook. Uncle Walter's handwriting. I'm sure of it. Maybe it explains the symbols in the journal. The radiator hisses. Outside, the rain murmurs against the window, almost like a faint scratch. Sanity holds at 60 out of 99. Has it made rolls? It's telling me every other roll, so I assume it's not doing sanity rolls. None of this is even um, potentially driven me insane at all, is what I'm thinking. But we're about to look at the stuff, so let's see if that changes anything. All right. The items on your desk feel like they're waiting to spill their poisons. What do you do next, Tommy? Do we examine a specific item? Comfort Marion more? Pour a drink from the flask? Dig into the papers or notebook with library use? 0% base education might help. Try the amulet. Or a cult. With a cult. My cult sucks. I'm not going to roll a cult. A cult. Okay. Pardon me. Pardon me. So we're going to take a look. As we look at all the items for us, I spark a cigarette and offer one to Marion. Anything stand out to you? Comfort her again. I walk as I spark a cigarette and offer one to Marion, walking towards her. Anything stands out to you? As I stand next to her, I comfort her again, placing my hand on her shoulder to see if anything particularly stands out to me as well. All right. Anything pop out at you? A little more of a character. Have some character to our speech here. A little more film noir. A little more slang. All right. Here we go. Okay, as we look at the items before us, I spark a cigarette and offer one to Marion, walking towards her. Anything pop out at you? As I stand next to her, I comfort her again, placing my hand on her shoulder to see if anything particularly stands out to me as well. The items sprawl across your desk like relics from a fever dream. The stone idol. The stone idol squatting malevolently under the lamp's harsh glow, its tentacled form casting twisted shadows. The silver amulet glinting like a ward against the dark. The brass key with its etched symbols that seem to writhe if you stare too long. The faded photograph of Uncle Walter, his eyes hollow and knowing. Bundles of yellowed papers and letters, edges with curled with age. The dried herbs crumbling in their wrap, releasing that cloying incense wrought scent. The small coated notebook, pages filled with frantic scrawl. The rusted trowel, its blade flecked with what might be old earth or something drier, flakier. You strike a match, the flame flaring briefly in the dim room, and light up a lucky strike, inhaling deep as the smoke curls towards the ceiling. Stepping around the desk towards Marion, you fish another from the pack and offer it to her with a nod. Anything pop out at you? Your voice is low, steady as you stand close enough to feel the subtle tremble in her frame. You place a reassuring hand on her shoulder again, thumb pressing gently, feeling the knot of tension. Their ease under the hair of your touch. She's holding up, but the fear still simmering. Her skin cool through the fabric. Spot hidden success. Oh, that's a hard success, right? 14. Your eyes sharpened by the cigarette's focus and years of sifting clues in smoky rooms catch a few standout details amid the pile. The stone idol, up close. One of its carved eyes seems mismatched, slightly raised like a button or latch, and touching it sends a faint vibration through your fingers, almost electric. Brass keys, symbols match some sketches in the yellowed papers. A star within a flame, repeated in margins with notes like "Seal the gate," scribbled hastily, and the photograph on the back, faint pencil, Corwin House, 1918. The watcher stirs, but most intriguing, the coded notebook's first page has a loose sheet tucked in, a torn map fragment of Boston's North End, with 42 Thomas Street circled in red ink, arrows pointing to what looks like underground tunnels or a basement extension labeled the Pit. Marion accepts the cigarette with a shaky hand, letting you light it for her. She takes a drag, exhaling slow, her free hand hovering over the desk without touching anything. Pop out. All of it does, Tommy. But that amulet. Uncle Walter mentioned something like it in a letter to my mother years ago. Called it a protector against the unseen. And the herbs, they smell like the incense he burned during his rituals. Or wherever he called them. Family thought he was just eccentric. But now, she trails off, leaning slightly into your hand on her shoulder, her eyes flicking to the idol with a shudder. That thing, it feels wrong, like it's looking back. Pardon me. The radiator clinks louder, almost rhythmic, and outside, the rain scratches at the window like distant claws. Your flask sits untouched in the drawer, but the rise call is getting stronger. Sanity steady. 60 out of 99 for now. Okay, so this hasn't made us go insane yet. All right, I think I'm going to press the idol's eye. Should we comfort Marion more intimately? I don't want to get carried away yet. I'm a professional here. All right. So, so basically, I'm thinking these items, these artifacts. I'm thinking tomorrow, when I can find an occult shop open, I'm gonna go there and get some opinions on some of this stuff. Um, any advice for tackling a situation like this? Um, and this is a lot of work here, so I'm definitely gonna need um, more money. And yeah, I'm gonna comfort Marion more intimately, definitely. And maybe that could end up with her spilling some more or helping us out more, and making her feel less scared as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go. Looks like we've got a lot more to consider. Looks like we got a lot more to look into. Looks like we got a lot more to. We got a lot more to dig into together. Here, Marion. Looks like we've got a lot more to dig in together, Marion. Um, we're gonna go. Actually, also going to. We're gonna get a little bit flirtatious here. All right. Get a smirk emoji going here. Looks like we've got a lot more to dig into together, Marianne. Little double entendre here. I slide my hand down her arm to the idol. Did this pop out at you? Okay. So it looks like we've got a lot more to dig into together, Marion. I slide my hand down her arm to the idol. Did this pop out at you too? I press the eye. All right, let's see what happens with the eye. All right. All right, so let's see what ChatGPT says here. The smoke from your lucky strike mingles with Marion's, curling lazy in the lamplight, like secrets uncoiling. The pile of artifacts on the desk sits there, heavy with implication, but your focus shifts to her first. You lean in closer, with that wry, Malone smirk tugging at your lips as you deliver the line, voice low and laced with that edge. Use the emoji there. Looks like we got a lot more to dig into together, Marion. Your hand slides down her arm, slow, deliberate, the touch lingering on her skin through the thin fabric of her blouse, warm against the chill that settled in the room. She doesn't pull away. If anything, she turns slightly towards you, her breath catching just a hair, eyes flickering from your face to the desk. You guide her hand, or maybe it's yours, towards the stone idol, fingers brushing over its grotesque tentacled surface. This pop out at you too. Then, with a firm press, your thumb depresses that mismatched eye. The raised one caught your notice earlier. It clicks inward with a subtle sneak, like a lock tumbling open, and the idol vibrates sharply in your grip. Not just electric, but alive. A pulse that races up your arm like ice water in your veins. The idol splits along an invisible seam, a hidden compartment yawning open in its base. Inside, a small rolled parchment, yellowed and brittle, tied with a frayed red thread. and nestled beside it, a dull black gem the size of a marble, the facets catching the light in ways that bend unnaturally, like it's drinking the shadows around it. The metallic tang floods the room stronger than ever, mixed with a whisper of something foul, decay, whispers, madness. But as you stare into the gem, it stares back. Visions flicker at the edges of your mind, endless voids writhing, forms of older than stars. A house, the house, crumbling into a pit that screams with a thousand voices. Okay, here's our first sanity roll. Boom, it's a failure. 72 over 60. Lose 1d3 sanity. 2, we lose 2 sanity. Shit. The world tilts for a heartbeat. Your grip tightening on Marion's arm as reality snaps back. Sanity, now 58 out of 99. There's nothing you can shake off. Yet. But the whispers linger, faint and mocking. Marion gasps, her hand flying to her mouth as she pulls back slightly, eyes wide on the opened idol. Tommy, what is it? The gem? It's like the eyes in my dreams, cold, pulling at me. She leans into a fraction more, her shoulder pressing against your chest, voice trembling but steady. We shouldn't have. But God, we have to know. Now, don't we? The parchment and gem sit exposed, waiting. The radiator clanks on, but the rain outside, it sounds different now, like laughter muffled through the grass. All right, so what was in there? So, what do we have here? So it opens up. Parchment. Okay, so we got to look at this parchment and a dull black gem. Okay. So, let's I definitely want to have a closer look here. I don't want to go too insane. I'm thinking for some sanity, especially if we lose any more, should perhaps go for a drink down at the bar. Maybe I will take a shot from my flask myself and say how impolite of me. Let's go for a drink to look over some of this stuff too. Something like that, you know? That's what I'm thinking. Because I want to have a good look at this stuff, get however much we can out of it tonight ourselves before bringing it to the occult store. I take a swig from my flask for sanity's sake. I hope that recovers some sanity. And offer it to Marion. I don't like being rude. I don't like being impolite to lovely ladies. Okay, I take a swig from my flask for sanity's sake and offer it to Marion. I don't like being impolite to lovely ladies. Um, I we examine the scroll in the gem more closely. All right. See what happens. We're gonna go more insane. I'm not sure. We're gonna hold. We'll get back some sanity. I'm thinking I'm going to get back some sanity, so it doesn't really matter if I lose any. I'm wondering if I can again go above 60. Let's see what happens. The visions from the gem cling like cobwebs in your skull, voids, writhing horrors, the house devouring itself, but you shake them off with a grunt. Sanity dipping 55 out of 99, but not shattered yet. You reach for the desk drawer, pulling out the flask of cheap rye, unscrewing the cap with a metallic rasp that echoes in the quiet room. For sanity's sake, you mutter to yourself, taking a long swig, the burn chasing away the chill, steadying your nerves enough to blunt the edge of that cosmic whisper. No mechanical sand regain, but it feels like when shit, I don't get to get it back there. Well. You turn to Marion, that Malone charm kicking in despite the madness on the desk, and offer the flask with a crooked smile. I don't like being impolite to lovely ladies. He hesitates, eyes flicking from the flask to your face. Eyes, okay. A faint flush creeping up her cheek amid the pallor of fear. But she takes it, her fingers brushing yours, cool, soft, and tips it back for a small sip, wincing at the bite but managing a weak smile as she hands it back. Thanks, Tommy. Burns like truth, or whatever this nightmare is. She leans a bit closer, her shoulders against yours now, the contact a small anchor in the swirling dread. Together, you turn to the opened idol, the parchment and black gem nestled inside like forbidden fruit. You carefully unroll the parchment, brittle, ancient, inscribed in faded ink, with symbols that twist the eye, angular runes interspersed with sketches of stars, gates, and a monstrous form that matches the idol's tentacles. The text is in Latin or something like it, with English annotations in a shaky hand. Uncle Walter's phrases jump out. The Corwin entity, bound in 1846, feeds on fear. The bed, the knife, the window. It trails into mad scribbles ending with do not summon, seal with the star. The gem, meanwhile, you lift carefully. Its facets cold, unnaturally smooth, drawing light into itself like a void. Staring into it too long pulls at your mind again. Flickers of the house's basement, a pit yawning wide, screams echoing eternal. Called roll. Oh shit, I success. We got 12, so we got 12 out of a possible 100. 20 is a fail. Your smattering of occult knowledge clicks. This is no ordinary stone. It's a scrying gem, tied to elder lore, used to glimpse other realms, but at a cost. Legends whisper of gems like this binding entities, or serving as keys to gates. Touching it barehanded sends a jolt. Visions sharper now. A man? Walter. Chanting in the attic. A ritual gone wrong. Something crossing over, but you pull back before it digs deeper. No sanity lost this time. You're tougher than that. Nice. Maybe the swig there helped. Marion peers over your shoulder, breath warm on your neck, hand lingering on your arm. That parchment, it's like a warning. Corbin entity? Uncle's last name was Corbin. Close enough to chill the blood. And the gem, it's pulling at me too, like the dreams. What if it's a key to whatever's in the house? The room feels smaller, the lamp's light dimmer, shadows stretching from the desk like tendrils. The rain outside scratches incessantly. For a split second, you swear the idol's eyes glint in their own. All right. What do we do? Brock has some suggestions. Dig into the notebook papers. Try the amulet for protection. Comfort Marion more intimately. Head back to the house armed with this. Armed with what? I guess the amulet. I don't know. Pour another swig if you want. Umbrella skill. Librarius. Okay. Um. Let's have a look at the papers. Look at the papers with Marion. What am I gonna say? What does she say? So what's with this about the scrying gem? Like, do I know it's this? So I have some of this knowledge. Smattering of occult knowledge clicks. It's a scrying, so I know it's a scrying gem. I know enough of that. I know. Okay. So you can glimpse things at a cost. Okay. But I didn't lose any sanity. Um, all right. Corwin entity. Um, I look at the papers of their Marion. Look at the papers of Marion. Yeah, I think that's just what I'm gonna do. I don't think there's anything else to do. Corwin. Corwin, huh? Corwin, huh? Sounds like he lost this game. Um, let's have a look at the papers. Maybe something will connect. Maybe something will connect. I look at the papers with Marion. Corwin, huh? Sounds like he lost this game, though. Let's have a look at the papers. Maybe something will connect for us. Let's emphasize the double entendre here. So I hope we don't lose any more sanity. I'm gonna try and get some back. I'm thinking we're gonna go to the bar after this to talk, get her to connect. She was saying her life was tumultuous at the time, I think, when all this happened. So I'm gonna see if any of that relates. The rise warmth still lingers in your chest, a thin barrier against the chill creeping from the artifacts on the desk. Marion stands close. Her presence a soft counterpoint to the room's growing oppression, her arm brushing yours as you both lean over the pile. You stub out your cigarette in the overflowing ashtray, the smoke hanging thick like a shroud. Pick up the bundle of yellow papers and letters, their edges brittle, ink faded, but legible under the lamp's glare. Corwin, huh? You rumble, your Boston drawl thick with cynicism as you unfold the top letter. Marion peering over your shoulder, her breath warm on your neck. Sounds like he lost this game, though. Let's have a look at the papers. Maybe something will connect for us. She nods, her hand resting lightly on your form now, fingers tightening as you skim the contents together. The papers are a mix, hasty sketches of symbols matching the parchment runes, stars, gates, and tentacle horrors, and letters dated from 1918 to 1925, all addressed to W. Corbin from various senders, an archaeologist in Cairo, a professor in Arkham, Massachusetts, and anonymous notes with no return address. Library roll. Base 0, but your education's 85. It gives me a shot. I don't know how that adds up. Okay, so my education's pretty high. Surprising. But I get it. I get a success on the education. Pieces click as you read aloud in snippets. So what does that mean? Does it mean it adds my education and my library use, like gets an average, or is it just relying on the education? I don't know. Pieces click as you read aloud in snippets, your voice low and steady. Marion filling in the gaps with family lore. One letter From the Cairo archaeologist dated 1909. The idol you unearthed in the valley is no mere relic. The locals speak of Corbin, a corruption of ancient name, Kurbin, the devourer from the stars, bound by the elders in stone. But hungry, do not bring it home, Walter. Seal it with the star amulet. So this thing, he somehow brought it home, obviously. Another from the Arkham Professor from 1920. Your experiments in the house, dangerous. The entity was summoned in 1846 by the original owner, a mad cultist named Corwin. He bound it to the structure itself, walls, basement, pit, to feed on intruders' fear. But bindings weaken. The knife in the bed, the window portal, the signs of its stirring. Use the gem to scry, but beware, it links minds. All right, so we probably gonna go crazy using that thing. We got to be mindful of doing that, but I think we're gonna need to. Anonymous notes scattered throughout. It watches from the walls. The screaming is its call. Dig no deeper. The pit awaits. And sketches, diagrams of the house at 42 Thomas Street, making the bed in the second floor room, that window with the handprint, the knife hidden somewhere in the pit in the basement, with arrows to a gate, sealed by symbols like the amulet star. Marion gasped softly, her grip on your arm firming. Uncle Walter, he knew, brought that idol back, tried to control it. Corbin? Family name twisted by whatever that is. She points to a sketch of the entity. A mass of eyes and tendrils feeding from a void. The dreams, the sounds, it's all connected. But how do we stop it? Burn the house or seal it again? As you set the papers down, the black gem on the desk pulses faintly. Or maybe it's the light flickering. Visions nibble at your edges again. Pit opening. Screams pulling you in. Sanity roll. Success. No loss. So my sanity's 58 now. So I roll 55. So we're saying you shake it off, but the room feels colder. The rain outside is crashing like nails on wood. Okay. This sounds like we're gonna be going in pretty deep. This sounds like we're gonna be going in pretty deep here, Marion. But let's leave it here for now. And take our mind. Sounds like we're gonna be going in pretty deep here, Marion. But let's leave it here for now and take our minds off it until tomorrow. How about another drink? A nightcap. A nightcap at the bar downstairs. Okay. Place the items in a shoebox. Put them in a safe location. Okay, so this sounds like we're going to be going in pretty deep here, but let's leave it here for now and take our minds off it until tomorrow. How about another drink, a nightcap at the bar downstairs? Boom. Okay. The papers settle back onto the desk with a soft rustle, their secrets half revealed, but still coiling like smoke in your mind. The entity, Corbin, whatever nightmare name it wears, hangs over the room like a bad omen. But you've danced with shadows before. You lean back, that hand on Marian's arm lingering a moment longer, feeling the subtle warmth there amid the chill. Sounds like we're going to be going in pretty deep here, Mary. But let's leave it here for now. Take our minds off it until tomorrow. Put another drink, nightcap at the bar downstairs. She meets your eyes, a flicker of relief cutting through the fear. Or maybe something else, warmer in the lamplight. A nightcap, yeah. Yeah, that sounds good, Tommy. God knows I could use something to drown out those whispers. She manages a small, genuine smile, her hand giving your form a quick squeeze before pulling away. You gather the hall, the idol, carefully closing its compartment, that gem, parchment tucked back inside, the amulet, key, photo, papers, herbs, notebook, trowel, and slide them into the old shoebox under the desk. The cardboard scarred from the past cases, tapping it shut with a strip from your drawer. You stash it in the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet, locking it with the key you keep on your chain. Metallic tang fades a bit as it's sealed away, but not entirely, like it's etched into the air now. You flick off your desk lamp, plunging the office into shadow save for the faint neon bleed from the street. Grabbing your fedora and trench coat, you offer Marion her gray coat with a nod. After you, doll. Mally's bar, 11:30 p.m. Down the creaky stairs, the bar's warmth hits like a blanket. Jazz crooning from the radio, smoke thick as fog. A handful of late night regulars hunched over their glasses. The bartender, old Seamus, with his perpetual scowl, nods as you slide onto a stool at the end of the bar, Marion settling beside you. The usual Malone. And for the lady, you order a couple of rye on the rocks, straight, no chaser. Glasses clinking down with a satisfying thud. Marion sips hers slowly, the color returning to her cheeks as the liquor works its magic. She turns to you, voice soft with a murmur of the crowd. Thanks for this, Tommy. Feels almost normal. For a minute. What about tomorrow? Back to the house, armed with all that? Or call in help? The jazz swell. Okay, I was hoping for this. It looks like sanity's going up here. Or sanity holds. I was hoping it would go up, in fact. The jazz swells, but in the lulls, you swear you hear a faint scratching like nails on wood from upstairs. Or maybe just the rain against the window. Sanity holds at 58 out of 99. The rye helps. So it didn't make me do a roll, but how's it helping? I don't understand. I think I should be able to do a roll here, get some back. So what do we do? Do we take a sip and chat her up? Scan the bar for anything? I don't think there's anything to scan in the bar. So you're just heading to her hotel? No. Excuse yourself to check the office. All right. So I'm gonna say um, um, the normalcy and connection in the bar. in the bar atmosphere soothes my sanity. What am I gonna say to her? What did she say? There's something normal. When's the last time you felt normal, Marion? Okay. The normalcy and connection in the bar atmosphere soothes my sanity. Give me that sanity roll. I want to see if I can go above 60. When's the last time you felt normal, Marion? The jazz on the radio weaves through the haze of cigarette smoke, a sax solo crooning low and mournful, like it's trying to forget the world outside. The regulars chatter in subdued tones, cabbie grousing about the rain, a couple of dock workers laughing over their pints, and for a moment it all feels human, grounded. The rye in your glass burns just right, and that connection with Marion, her presence beside you, the subtle brush of her knee against yours under the bar eases the gnawing edges of the night. Sanity restored. Boom, 60 out of 99. So I got +2. So 2 even me out. A 3 would have been nice on the D3 just to see if we can get it up to 61. But let's see. The whispers fade to a distant hum, drown in the normalcy of clinking glasses and muffled laughter. Nice. You lean in closer to her, the question slipping out easy amid the warmth of the liquor and the bar's embrace. When was the last time you felt normal, Mary? She swirls her rye on the rocks, ice tinkling like faint chimes, her eyes distant for a beat before focusing on you, soft, appreciative, with a hint of vulnerability peeking through. The flush from the drink colors her cheeks, and she sets the glass down, turning fully towards you on the stool, her hand lightly resting on the bar near yours. Normal. She lets out a soft, wry laugh, shaking her head as she meets your gaze. God, Tommy, before all this, I suppose, before the inheritance letter arrived last month, turning my life into a ghost story, I was just me, a secretary in a law firm downtown, lunches with friends, evenings with a good book, and no shadows whispering in the walls. Her fingers brush yours accidentally, or not, as she gestures, lingering a second too long. But tonight, here, with you, it's the closest I've felt in weeks. No eyes watching, no screams echoing, just this. She smiles faintly, genuine, her eyes holding yours with a warmth that cuts through the bar's haze. Seamus polishes a glass behind the bar, eyeing you two with a knowing smirk, but saying nothing. The jazz shifts to a slower tune, almost intimate, but in the background, faint, through the window. The rain still taps irregularly, like something trying to get in. What do you do next, Tommy? All right, so it seems like we're going to be able to close here on Marion. I'm hoping I can get some extra cash out of this as well. I think I'll try that in the morning and not now. Um, because obviously we're gonna have to do some research. I have a feeling we're gonna have to pay the guy at the occult store and even buy some stuff there. And it's a lot more of my time. Like she paid me to go check it out tonight, and obviously we're not doing that. We made some good advances, but we have a lot of time we're gonna have to put into this together. Um, yeah, this is the closest she's felt to normal. So I'm gonna say I have a feeling tonight tonight'll get a lot more normal. Um, That's good, Marion. I have a feeling tonight it'll get a lot more normal for both of us. I'll just lean in for a kiss here. All right. That's good, Marion. I have a feeling tonight will get a lot more normal for both of us. So we're going to reach in. Reach in and brush hair from her face. We're going to reach in, brush some hair from her face. I have a feeling tonight will get a lot more normal for both of us. Lean in for it. Let's see if it works here. Boom. Okay. So we got okay, let's see what happens. I had second thoughts on how I was gonna approach that, but it's okay. The jazz croons on, a sultry melody weaving through the smoky air. The bar's dim lights casting a warm amber glow over the scarred wooden counter. Seamus busies himself at the far end, polishing glasses with deliberate ignorance, while the few remaining patrons murmur in their own words. The rye sits half finished in your glasses, the ice melting slow, like the tension of the night. You lean in closer to Marion with your hand reaching up gently, fingers brushing a stray lock of dark hair from her face, tucking it behind her ear. Her skin is soft, warm under your touch. She doesn't pull away. If anything, her eyes soften, locking onto yours with a mix of surprise and that spark of connection that's been building since the diner. That's good, Marion, you murmur, voice low and rough from smoke and liquor. I have a feeling tonight will get a lot more normal for both of us. You lean in, slow, deliberate, giving her the space to decide. Your lips meeting in a kiss that's tentative at first, then deepening as she responds. Her hand finds your collar, fingers curling into the fabric of your shirt, pulling you closer. The kiss tastes of rye and shared secrets. A brief escape from the shadows clawing at the edges of your mind. She sighs softly against you, the world narrowing to this moment, the bar's hum fading, rain outside a distant patter. But as you pull back slightly, breath mingling, her eyes flutter open, and for a split second something flickers in them. Not fear, not quite, but a shadow, like the void from her dreams peeking through. She blinks it away, smiling faintly, her hand trailing down your arm. Tommy, yeah, normal sounds perfect right now. Her voice is hushed, inviting, laced with that vulnerability that's drawn you in. The jazz swells, but upstairs, faint through the floorboards, a subtle scratching resumes. Shit, upstairs? Uh-oh. Or maybe it's just the old building settling. Sanity holds steady at 60 out of 99, but the night's not over. Um, okay. We're gonna need a good rest tonight, Marion. I have a feeling we're gonna need a good rest tonight, Marion. Things are getting real normal. But I have a feeling things are getting real normal for us tonight. But I have a feeling they're gonna get real weird before it's all said and done. On this case, I pay for the drinks, leave a tip. um, I say, I'll drive you back to that hotel. But if you'd rather not be alone, my place upstairs is real normal. There you go. Boom. So, I have a feeling we're going to need a good rest tonight. Things are getting real normal for us tonight, but I have a feeling they're going to get real weird before it's all said and done on this case. Pay for the drinks and leave a tip. I'll drive you back to that hotel, but if you'd rather not be alone, my place upstairs is real normal. All right. The jazz winds down to 11:35 p.m. now. So it's only been, how long have we been in this live stream here? We've been in here like 2.5 hours or so. And 2.5 hours, I think we started what, 9:30, 10:30, 2 hours have passed in the game here. Maybe we started the game. Maybe it's actually been 2 hours, just over 2 hours. So we're pretty much on par with the time we're spending in the game. It's pretty interesting. O'Malley's Bar, we're 11:35. The jazz winds down to a soft piano riff. The bar's haze thickening as the last calls echo faintly from Seamus. Your words hang between you and Marion like smoke, the mix of reassurance and foreboding. The case's shadows creeping back in, even as the ride tries to hold him at bay. You fish a few bills from your pocket, sliding them across the counter to cover the drinks with a generous tip. The paper crinkling under your fingers. Seamus nods his thanks, pocketing it without a word, his eyes flicking knowingly between you two before he turns away. Marion meets your gaze, her lips still tinged from the kiss, a faint smile playing there amid the flush of liquor and lingering warmth. She sets her glass down with a soft clink, her hand finding yours under the bar, fingers intertwining briefly, cool and steady. Rest. Yeah, tell me. Normal sounds like heaven right now, even if it's just for tonight. And weird, well, with you on the case, I figure we've got a fighting chance. Her voice is low, intimate, carrying that edge of vulnerability but laced with trust, and maybe invitation. She glances towards the stairs leading up to your office, and the small apartment tucked behind it. That one room set up with its lumpy bed and faded wallpaper. You've called home since the divorce. The hotel, it's safe enough, but alone with those dreams. No, I don't fancy that. Your place upstairs? If it's as normal as you say. She squeezes your hand standing up with you. Her coat drapes over her arm as she leans in close, breath warm against your ear. Lead the way, investigator. You both step out into the misting rain, the bar's door swinging shut behind you with a muffled thud. The street is quiet, your Model T waiting at the curb like an old friend. But upstairs is closer, just those rickety steps away. The night air carries that faint metallic tang again. Or maybe it's just your imagination. but the scratching from the office window above seems louder now, incessant, like nails carving secrets into the glass. What do you do next, Tommy? So, head upstairs with her, drive to the hotel anyway, check the office for that scratching, light another smoke, and talk more. If you want, roll a skill and listen. All right. At this point, I don't know. This scratching, do I listen in for it? I think we're just gonna go upstairs and take our chances here. I think it's I don't know. I don't think that I don't think there's a void up there. I think if there is, it's just something linked, like small. It's not, definitely not as big as at that house. There's two of us there. Um, I don't feel in danger, so we're gonna head upstairs. We go upstairs. Go upstairs. Guide her upstairs. Into my room. I think this is gonna close it out. I'll close on her, and then that'll close it out for the evening. And then next time we get together and do this, I think I'm gonna stick to Sunday nights here, even though we didn't have any viewers. Sunday nights seems like it's a good time. Hopefully, if some of you watch this, maybe I'll edit it down slightly, put in some background music. But next time I'll probably stream with the music. Hopefully, if we get some people in here, we can get some conversation going. Because you see, it's like a slow pace here. It's not like I'm playing with anybody else. We can sort of tackle it all together. If you guys want to go in a certain direction or have any ideas, we can. I can assess those comments as they show up in the chat. If I do run again in the middle of the week here, I'll make an announcement about it on my X and on YouTube here. I'll do a YouTube short about it as well, promoting it as I have for this one. The shorts seem to be getting a decent amount of views. I think we got almost 500 views on the first one there, 30 on another, and just a handful on the latest one. But that's pretty good considering I had single digit followers. I just started the channel this week. I think this went pretty well. We're going to be going onward and upward, improving things as we move along here. But yeah, for tonight here, let's close this out. Let's guide her upstairs into the room. Um, obviously we're playing with that word normal as like a double entendre for intimacy here. So let's close out on that note. Um, I guide her upstairs into my room. Um, let's nice normal. Let's have a nice normal. Let's have a nice normal sleep, Marion. Let's have a nice normal rest, Marion. Let's get to bed nice and normal. That's what we'll say. Let's get to bed. What I'm going to do here is I will slide my hand up, arm, into her hair and guide her face towards me as I look in her eyes. All right. Kiss, and I close the light, and I shut the light. Close the light, shut the light. All right. Shut the light. Okay. I don't know if it's gonna make me go through the whole interaction, each and every step of it. I'm just want to get it to cut till morning. This isn't an X-rated game here we're doing. I don't want to push YouTube's guidelines that far. Let's see what happens. The stairs creak under your boots as you guide Marion up. Your hands steady on the small of her back, protective, possessive. The bar's jazz fading to a muffled hum below. She moves with you close, her heels clicking softly on worn wood. The mist from outside still clinging to your coats like ghostly veils. You unlock the door to the small apartment behind the office, that cramped one-room haven with its iron bedstead, faded quilt, and the single window overlooking the rain slick down. The radiator clanks welcomely, chasing the chill as you step inside, locking the world out with a firm click. Let's go to bed, you murmur, your voice low in the dim glow of the bedside lamp. She nods, eyes meeting yours with that mix of trust and heat, shedding her coat onto the chair as you do the same. Your hand slides up her arm, slow, tracing the curve, fingers tangling into her dark hair, guiding her face to yours, nice and normal. Her breath catches, lips parting as you look into her eyes, deep, shadowed by the night's secrets, but alight with the moon. You kiss her, then, deeper than downstairs, her body pressing against yours, hands exploring the lines of your shirt, your back. The world narrows to this. The taste of rye on her lips, the soft sigh she makes, the way she melts into you. You reach out blindly, flicking off the lamp, plunging the room into darkness, save for the faint neon bleed through the blinds. The night unfolds in whispers and touches, a brief sanctuary of warmth and normalcy amid the encroaching madness. Marion's closeness is real, grounding, her skin soft under your hands, her murmurs a counterpoint to the rain pattern outside. For hours, it's just you two, lost in the rhythm, the horrors locked away in that shoebox drawer. Later, 3:17 a.m. Uh-oh. 3 a.m. That can't be good. Sleep comes fitful, the bed creaking under your weight as Marion curls against you, her breathing steady and soft. But the dreams creep in, voids, yawning wide, eyes staring from walls that pulse like flesh, a gurgling pit pulling at your soul. You jolt awake, heart pounding, but she's there, stirring, her hand on your chest, murmuring sleepily, "Tommy, just a dream." Dawn filters gray through the blinds by 7 a.m. Okay, I was thinking I might lose some sanity there. Glad we didn't. The rain eased to a drizzle. Marion stirs beside you, stretching with a contented sigh, her hair tousled across the pillow. Morning, that was normal. Nice. She smiles, but her eyes flick to the office door, the shoebox waiting beyond. But the case, we can't ignore it forever. What's the plan? Back to the house? Or dig into that notebook first? Your 38 sits on the nightstand loaded. The flask is half empty. Sanity clings at 60 out of 99. But last night, that helped. What do you do next, Tommy? All right. So I'm thinking, so we still have that notebook it's emphasizing. I think we've looked at everything else, right? Um, let's look at let's take the items, go have Brad, I'll talk. Well, that's for next. We'll talk about that later. So that's it for today. Comments, criticisms, um, likes, dislikes, put them in the comments. Hope to see you next time. Um, Again, if you enjoyed this at all, uh, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and tune in next time. Um, there's a lot of different ways you can play Call of Cthulhu. Obviously, I gave a suggestion starting in the 1920s here. Um, as a private investigator with a film noir vibe, that was sort of the premise I laid out for it. There's many different approaches you can take. You could take the role of somebody like a character like Marion, who's inherited this house and have her experience. Maybe you have to hire an investigator, or you could tackle it as somebody like the uncle there, who he's into this stuff already, or somebody moving into the new house, or a real estate agent perhaps. There's all sorts of ways, and ways that are way beyond the haunted house, right? There's so many premises for Call of Cthulhu. um Let me know if you like this one, and suggestions you have for the future. We will be doing a D&D campaign as well. I don't know if I'll continue this on the weeknight. If I stream again on a weeknight, maybe Sundays will be for Call of Cthulhu. Maybe we'll do weeknights for D&D, or maybe we'll just push through on this um, story until the end, and then start fresh with D&D. Unless you really like this and you want a different story for Tommy, or a completely different Call of Cthulhu campaign, let me know. Let's talk about it. Hope to do that in the chat, especially, but in the comments as well. That's it for today on D&D GX, um, where we roll against the machine. See you next time.